2 to 3 years, every single student, teacher, administrator gets a fully loaded tablet with applications that they can use in their classrooms, gamification.
No youngster in Southern California, or the rest of the country for that matter, should have their future determined because of the neighborhood they live in or the school they attend. Unfortunately, too often kids from poor, underserved areas, the wrong zip codes as it were, are at a severe disadvantage. Never has this divide been so glaring with digital technology.
Our hopes for the future are very technology dependent.
My school is lacking some of the basic tools that I know other schools have, specifically computers.
For me, not having internet at home is like a really big disadvantage because if I have to do homework or like research and everything, and I just go home, I can't finish it.
Because now she's in the high school, and for that reason, the community is not good, not safe enough. So I'm trying to get the internet.
Not having internet has been difficult because most everything is internet based, so there's a lot more stress on the students to find a way to actually do their homework.
1 in 3 students in Miami-Dade isn't connected outside of school. For many, the library is the only option, and resources are stretched thin.
What's the longest you guys have ever had to wait?
The costs of the digital divide are extremely damaging for children. So if they don't have connections when they're in school, they're going to have a harder time competing, applying for colleges. Then it perpetuates itself in this negative cycle.
A couple websites, you cannot do it at school. You have to do it here. Like mathematics, if you don't do them all, that's about 10 Fs right there. You only got an hour on this, and an hour goes by like that. My time's up.
Other people don't have that struggle because they have internet. The people that can't afford it have that kind of struggle.
Half a generation of young people are not being offered the same opportunities to innovate, imagine, invent.
Students that don't have access to the internet are really at a disadvantage.
I've seen kids that don't have access, and it's really hindered their ability to be a part of the classroom.
They can't keep up. If young people don't have the access, they'll fall through the cracks.
Some kids will have to go to the nearby fast food place to get online because they can't do it at home. It's heartbreaking. It's sad because it doesn't need to be.
There's a huge population of people who don't have access, who won't be able to engage in our society as a whole, but now they won't even be able to get jobs, so self-sufficiency is a big problem.
It's more than access, it's being able to give people information and give them skills so that they can make good decisions for themselves.
What happens when they just want a quick information, or something to answer, who was the 10th president of the United States? They should be able to have that right to go to a computer and get that information anytime they want it.
Yet we've taken few steps as a nation to ensure everyone can meet this demand.
Summit in Doha have been discussing key issues of education, such as financing learning, innovation in schools, and the future of education.
Experts are agreed that teaching will become more interactive and digital. There'll be fewer school books and more software. What's more, universities and business need to work closer together.
A complaint companies often have is that students aren't equipped with the necessary skills for the 21st century workplace. Today, universities are running late when it comes to 21st century skills. Competences such as coding and programming are key. Too few students master these techniques. This is the real challenge.
Something that takes 15 minutes to edit, she's trying to make sure she has her paragraphs clear, What kid should have to do that?
What message do you send to a kid when you say, we want you to learn computers, but you can't have one? Or we want you to learn computer science, but you got to wait in a line with 17 other kids for the one computer. If you want to teach a child to use computers, they have to have computers.
There's so much talk in the United States about closing the achievement gap, and yet often the talk is not followed up with a bunch of money. It's a place where a relatively small investment would yield very, very large benefits.
For so many children, home internet access is out of reach, and it's affecting their performance in school.
They're at an extreme disadvantage academically speaking because without internet access, they're not able to work on their homework, they're not able to forward themselves in a professional manner. Also, without internet access, I would not be able to be an engineer because I would not be able to do my homework and I would not be able to design structures using AutoCAD.
For students who don't have access to or can't afford internet access, I think it would be kind of hard, especially in today's society where everything's digitized and is done online, especially in college and at WCU where we have like Blackboard, or we have to pay for applications like Adobe or perhaps Top Hat or online textbooks. It might put those students at a disadvantage. If I had no internet access at home or on my laptop, I think it would be kind of hard to adjust to the new circumstances. I write most of my essays and homework on my laptop. I would have to go to the library more often than I usually do, and especially living in Japan, it would be really hard to communicate to my family back home while in college.
People who can't afford laptops have it a lot harder than people who can, because a lot of the work that needs to be done in college, requires laptops, so you can I feel like without my laptop, I'd be a lot more stressed than I was before, or than I am now, because I know that a lot of things that deal with school need your laptop and some form of internet to finish it.